Hi, my name's Tim and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at how to get out of a creative rut. If you feel like you're stuck in a rut, if you feel like everything that you play is a little bit boring, everything that you play just sounds the same and everything that you play just doesn't inspire you as a musician, we're going to look at a few things that you can do to kind of dig yourself out of this rut. So the first thing that we're going to say is that this happens to everybody. Everybody gets stuck in these little ruts. Everybody gets stuck listening to their own playing and just thinking, God, this sounds awful, or this sounds tedious or tiring, or I'm just playing the same thing over and over again. So the first thing is you just have to accept that you're in a rut. So just by accepting that you're in this creative rut is actually one of the biggest things that you can do to kind of dig yourself out of it, because once you accept that you're in it, it then makes getting out of it so much easier. That's it. Number one, accept that you're in a rut. Number two is take a break. If you feel that everything that you play is just stale and stagnant and you're going round and round in circles and everything sounds the same, take a break. Take 2 or 3 days off. Go and do something else. Go to the cinema, go to the movies, go to the theatre. No, you can't do any of that. Go for a walk. It's a tried and tested method to kind of get yourself out of your own head, because we always get stuck in here. As creatives, we're kind of stuck in this little headspace of wanting to create something that's unique and beautiful and something the world is going to latch onto and really connect with. Long term as well, taking a break, taking a week off. You don't have to necessarily go anywhere. You can just don't pick up the guitar, don't pick up the drums, don't sing. You can come back 3 or 4 days later and feel invigorated and inspired because you've kind of let these thoughts that kind of muster in our heads, you can kind of let them loose. Taking a break is really important. Number 3 is learn something new. If you are a rock guitarist, learn some jazz lines, learn some country lick. Likewise, if you're a fusion jazz guy, you'll be surprised what greatness can lie in some heavy metal guitar playing. If you feel like you've dipped your toes into various different genres and you're still feeling like you're in this rut, learn a different instrument. If you've got access to a piano, most studios are kind of opening up again now. A lot of them have drum kits in. Sit behind a drum kit for an hour. Really sit there and try and learn your 1, 2, 3, 4s and all your 8th notes that sit in between, or your 16th notes on your hi-hat. I did drum lessons for a couple of months and it really kind of opened my eyes and my ears to how drummers actually do their job, and it gives you a new perspective on music, which it can be great for getting out of these ruts that we find ourselves in. It doesn't even have to be musical related. You could go out and learn some maths, you can go and learn some geography or some history. All of these things, we kind of engage a different side of our brain, and we can then use that to kind of inspire us in music. So learning something new doesn't have to be music. Go and learn some physics. Number 4, this can be related to any instrument, but try and limit yourself. Try and put restrictions and boundaries on yourself. So if you're a guitar player, you could say, right, I'm only going to play on this one string, or I'm only going to play on this pair of strings, but have those pair of strings, a string apart. So you're going to create a melody, but you're only going to use the G and the E strings, for example. Or if you're stuck in one area of the neck, say, right, okay, I'm not going to play in this position. Force yourself to not play in a certain position. Usually between the 7th and the 12th frets for guitar players is kind of a no man's land. It's a bit of a dead black zone, so nobody really ventures in there, but really force yourself to play in that area. It can kind of open up new patterns and new melodies that you haven't explored before, because you're usually stuck, if we're honest, we're usually stuck pentatonic box 1 either at the 5th fret or the 12th fret. That's kind of where we're most comfortable. But moving out of those boxes, one way or the other, can open up new worlds, can open up new little lines, new melodies, and a new approach, a new way of looking at the guitar neck. So the last one, number 5. Go out and get a new teacher. If you don't have a teacher, go and get one. The reason some people can get stuck in a rut, and it's the same as when you are a teacher and you're teaching someone, you can get in a rut with a student, and all it takes is usually is a little shake up. So go and visit a new teacher. You don't have to do regular lessons and you don't have to swap permanently. You could just say, look, to your teacher, I feel like I'm stuck in a bit of a rut. What I'd like to do is spend a month or 2 months and go to somebody else, and let's just see where it takes you. It can just take you, different teachers can take you on different journeys, and you can end up in places that you never even thought that you'd be. So that's a really good idea. If you don't have a teacher and you are stuck in this rut, going to get a teacher can give you some focus, it can give you some direction, also it can give you some critique to your playing. It almost certainly will highlight things that you probably haven't even thought of, that you probably haven't even addressed or approached. They could say, your string bending is slightly out, so we're going to spend a week or 2 weeks learning different string bending techniques, and we're going to really, really hone that in. Likewise, if you're a drummer, going to a teacher, they could say your backbeat is inconsistent. You're not hitting the snare drum in that same spot every single time. that's what we're going to focus on. And when you have that focus, you can kind of set your sights on this little goal, before you know it, you're already out of your rut. So that's 5 things that we can do to help get ourselves out of these creative ruts. I really hope you found something interesting in here. These are things that I do all the time. Everybody gets stuck in a rut. The first thing I do is just accept that I'm in a rut, and now, I go out and learn something new. Country banjo licks and banjo rolls are the thing that I'm kind of tearing through at the moment. I'm no John Five or Jerry Donahue, but it's gives you a brand new approach to playing the guitar, and that's kind of what we're after. So if you found anything in here useful, please give the video a like, which is just down there. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, the same button is also down there. And I will see you on the next video, whenever that may be, hopefully very soon. Okay, take care. Goodbye.